So I've been noodling and doodling at this thing for a few days now. I think eventually I'll have to commit to the inks. It's a commission, it's a finishing commission, and this is a copy of how it came as Jim drew it. So loose, just needs some finishing. This is my best attempt. I think I've gone over it a couple of times in a few erasing and a few redraw and a few let's see, tests and trials of what would work. And my first try was, I had hair on this side. You can kind of still see a little bit of the pencils right there. Come down a little bit longer, but found out it didn't quite look right, didn't work, because as you can see from the layout here, you can see a nice bigger shape of her hair flowing this way. And when I brought it down here, I just kind of, it threw it off. It didn't look right. It lost the flow. So I brought it back up. Why did I make it longer? I don't know, just to test it out, try it. So I brought it back up and kept the lightness and the airiness of the hair, have it flow more in the direction of, say, a breeze that might lift it. So it gives it more of the light and airiness of and motion of the initial layout here. So when I brought the hair down, I think it totally threw it off, made it stiff. So I think just trying to keep that lightness, that airiness. And I kind of brought it down. And for those of you who may have seen this, I think Jim has finished it in many ways. And this is one of them. I looked it up, of course, the internet. So I looked up some references and I saw quite a few, pretty much the same pose, some differences in details. So I kind of used this as a guide. And the person who commissioned this wanted me to add her lasso. So again, trying to keep it to, I'm a rookie at this, I'm new, so I'm still trying to learn quite a bit. So how do I add it onto such a close-up? Like there's really no room for it to flow anywhere else, and just trying to keep it around her and still framing her and not distract from anything that's already here or fight against anything that's already here. So I'm trying to keep it sort of like a framing, and it's all still kind of loose because I wanted to see how it would look. And I think I kind of have it roughed out, maybe wrapped around her hand a little bit, just so you get more of it. I didn't know how else to squeeze in the lasso, but to still see, so it's not just one little loop. So figuring out how I can give some length in such a short or, you know, small frame or close up. So there we go. The initial pencils, really it looks like this. Her face is pretty much done, just had to tighten up on a couple of things. And here, trying not to mess up Jim's face as he had it. Maybe just tighten up on a couple of things just so I understand it better. That way when I ink it, there's no question and I don't want to go back and fix and refix. So for me, it's just to complete it in my own mind. Like the hair can be a little bit loose. I can kind of finish that as I'm working, but face, I want to be sure I have it solid in my mind. That way when I finish it, I'm not going to be questioning a lot of stuff. And her bustier also had to be redone. There's lots of versions of her Wonder Woman logo, or her bustier, or her top, whatever you want to call it. So doing my best. Jim Lee, not Scott Williams, but Sandra Hope. And now I actually have to finish inking it. I'll show you once it's done. All right, so this is just more like the, and of course source reference for me to work off of, because I want to try to stick, or when there's a lot to be finished and you want to try to still have that feel of the original pencils or the penciler, the voice of the penciler, I try to look up a lot of references and understand what they're doing and why, when there are lots of little gaps to fill, like going from here. So there you go. Beginning, middle, reference, end, not yet seen.